This now. This is what I built the cruiser for. This very moment. A lonely remote track in the Kalahari with no firm deadline. I can camp anywhere. I've got 4 days to get to Maun. Love the Kalahari. There's something about it. For me, it's one of those very special places, and we all have them, where when we start talking about the wonders of overlanding,
It's 2024. That means 40 years that I've been exploring the world's most remote places in four-wheel drives, in association with the Overland Workshop.
It's about 150 kilometers to where the pans are. I want to camp on a pan because there's a high chance of seeing animals. But I just love this kind of stuff. These Kalahari tracks, these dead straight tracks are actually cut lines. They were actually created during a period where they were searching for oil in the 60s. And there's a grid of tracks crossing this part of the Kalahari, 50-kilometer grid. And this is one of those cut lines, one of those original cut lines. And it's just a magnificent country, a magnificent thing to be doing on a magnificent day. Just taking a quick break to admire the clouds. The Kalahari is famous for its cloud formations. These are the dozens of cloud streets running north-south, and we've been cutting underneath them for the last hour. The going this morning has been easy, been really nice. A few places it's rough and a few places it's soft, but actually really easy going. Getting a little bit more wildlife, a lot of antelope and more birds. And we're about 1/3 along the northern boundary of the Kalahari Transfrontier Park. All right, let's get back. I made a feature film. This was shown in as a charity event in 2020, I think it was. I don't know if COVID had hit or was before or after, but it was a documentary called The Cry of the Kalahari. It was a feature documentary that I had made 10 years of my expeditions through this part of the world, and how it actually had become a bit of an obsession. In a way it still is, and that's why I love it so much. But that documentary is available if you go onto my website, forex-overland.com, and you check out TV shows, you can download it. It's costs a couple of dollars, but you can download it, and it's a feature-length documentary about my life in this place, filmed over a 10-year period. If you're enjoying this show in this place, you'll love it. You're going to really enjoy that. I reckon good 3 hours. But if I find something that worth camping, it's going to have to be special. But I know some pans are about 3 hours away. I just want to get a couple of shots on my Landcruiser. So the Kalahari Transfrontier Park, our entrance gate is there. I see it's closed. We're now going to basically head north towards Hukunsi and Kang. Hukunsi and Kang we will arrive day after tomorrow. I've got 2 days to do 159 kilometers, and I'm going to take 2 days to do them. Animals here too are so skittish. This is the first of the pans. do drive on the pan make me mad, make me angry. They spoil it for everybody else. This pan is beautiful. So, all the gemsbok, dozens of them over there, they're all running away. They're so skittish. But I was thinking that I might actually camp here, overlooking the pan, and then the animals will come back if I'm quiet. But I was thinking that I should actually come, if I could find a flat spot. Well, decided not to. Decided that I'm going to drive further and just look. Track has actually crossed the pan. I've just seen this area here. It's just off the pan. There's a beautiful tree, gorgeous tree with yellow flowers, flat ground and green grass. Look at those animals there. I don't want to walk to see if that's any good, purely because there could be predators around. So I'm going to drive up there. I don't like making unnecessary tracks. So I'm going to do one track and I'm going to make it easy. I really have found just what I was hoping to find. Yesterday I saw one other vehicle, today none. I am completely alone, and it's fairly unlikely that in the next 2 days that I will spend here that I will see another person. Just how I like it. Second nice camp in the Trippy. They're fork-tailed drongos, arguing and bickering. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any on camera. I'm very, very grateful now that the wind is starting to die down. It's a good, I don't know, 6:30, and I've got something in the travel buddy for supper. Benign insanity hasn't struck yet. Hasn't actually struck yet. Feeling quite content with things. I don't get during the days. I love the days. I love the day. The nights I struggle a little by struggling with loneliness. At night, I have to work quite hard so that it doesn't affect me badly. Because let's face it, there's me, there's a tree, and there's a camera. Nice tree, I think you'll agree. There's a lot of game tracks. A lot. There's a gemsbok. Gemsbok coming through here onto the pan service. That's gemsbok. That is a barking gecko. And they burrow in the ground. They're very, very difficult to find. And they're ventriloquists. To actually locate the burrow using the sound is not possible. Because, well, you just can't. And the burrows are very, very small. You can see behind me all of the springbok are now walking, slowly walking across the pan in that direction over there. I'm going to need a different camera to get that shot, different lens too. Let me do that for you. Camping with the troop carrier is becoming a little bit more comfortable, if a little awkward. My clothes are still in the check-in luggage that I brought with me. And sleeping inside has turned out to be rather nice. One of the nicest parts about sleeping in the back are these side windows that I can open and watch the sunrise. And as it turns out, a perfect game spotting photography place. Never been so comfortable while taking pictures of wild animals. And as you can see, they're becoming quite familiar with me. They're quite happy with me. I'm not making any noise, and if I remain this quiet, the animals will stay. So that then is the photograph taken with this camera here, which is the Sony A7 R5 with the 170 to 200 f2.8 lens set at 3.5. A rather lovely image, I think. That was rather lovely. This is a good place. This is the second morning. Yesterday morning, I was photographing another African sunrise, but we couldn't see the sun. Instead, we saw this huge storm, and I photographed all the clouds. That would make a nice pair, those two pictures. That would make a very nice pair. And that is the end of the the sunrise. The moment it clears the horizon, or very soon afterwards, that's the end of the beauty, the beautiful light. If it is half shrouded by clouds, then the sunrise continues. I'm going to spend the day sorting out my car, chilling, relaxing, and just enjoying the silence. I have bought myself a couple of these on eBay. Kind of a bit of guesswork really. I want to be able to pack some here for general camp stuff. I had this cutlery roll made in a place near Somerset West, in a place called Strand, last year when I was here. I cannot find a cutlery roll that anybody makes and markets that's right. This one, you just do them both in that. And there's a major design flaw. Velcro on one there, all the way around. Okay, and then eyes on the side, top. It doesn't reach. Close. So we're rolling it like that. You're absolutely correct.
You probably need two of these. We put a clip that day, and then you put a clip there.
Yeah. When it's empty, they had closed it when empty and cut the strap off. And now when it's full, I can't close it. Drill driver, which is staying with this car, and a set of drill bits, and I found its first job. The Max Trax table is not horizontal, so I have to drill 2 holes in it and relocate the metal straps. It turns out that I am not completely alone out here after all. This guy came visiting. I'm making notes of all of the things that I need changing. For example, those, I'm finding I'm using this table really quite a lot, but these are already starting to stretch. Already, that's level. So I'm going to replace these, I'm going to measure them and make them out of metal. Metal cord like this is the only way to go, I've learnt. I've tried leather, fabric straps, you name it. It stretches, and after a short period of time, that happens. It's going to be a long list. And this is the frustration, of course, is that I am used to building my rigs on a Saturday. I love it. It's what I love doing. Saturday morning in my home, chilling out in my workshop, getting my builds just right. I can't do that with this, so I have to do it on the track. So I have to prepare for that. I'm not anticipating any more tall grass, so I'm going to take off the drill net. I'm also going to check the oil. Now, some people run with these all the time, even on the highway. They just leave them on. It's a really bad idea. Your engine needs a full flow of air straight into the radiator to be able to cool itself sufficiently under high power settings. So the idea that you should leave it on all the time, really bad idea, especially with turbocharged engines. And you get at very high cylinder head temperatures and cook your turbocharger. I will find the bag for that and pack it away. And while I'm here, I'm going to check the oil, but I do want to do a full inspection. I'm going to do a full inspection of the car today. But, so if I know if I need to get out oil or not. All right. It has been using oil. I know the engine uses oil. So I am checking it on every time I fill up the tank. I'm checking oil. Yeah, I need some oil. It's at half. One of the things I do with all my builds is I have a safety spanner velcroed on top of the battery. And the reason for that is that if you had a short circuit which was going to cause a fire, you open the bonnet and you grab the spanner, and I can take off any lead here really easy and really quickly. The time wasted getting to the back, finding a tool, coming here, can burn your car. That's the difference. It can literally be seconds. You don't have minutes with a deep short circuit. You have seconds to save your car. And I recommend it. And I just put Velcro on the spanner. That's all I do. Soft Velcro on the spanner. And I've done that since I nearly lost my Range Rover. Probably would have been about 1985, 1986. Had a short circuit, major short circuit in the car, and I saved it. Burnt my hands very badly ripping the cable off, and since then, battery emergency spanner. And I can imagine a few of you saying, where can I learn all this stuff? Where can I learn all this stuff? There's so much stuff, Andrew. Where can I learn it? Overland Workshop, that is why I created it. With myself, Paul Marsh, with some invited specialists like Heine Klarman, Gwyn. We present course. There are currently 9 courses, and it's about building a vehicle, choosing a vehicle, operating a vehicle. And this, what I've just shown you now, will be part of operating an overlander. Because part of it is safety, part of it is risk mitigation. We talk a lot about risk mitigation. You might think to myself now, well, right now, what is the biggest risk to me? Fire. Because fire takes away my shelter, potentially takes away my water, potentially takes away my life. All right. Breakdown. If I had a breakdown, I'm on my own. What part of the car would leave me completely stranded? Yes, a major engine failure would leave me completely stranded, and then what would I do? Well, I would obviously try and fix it. So I have rudimentary spare parts, rudimentary knowledge, but if I couldn't fix it, well, what could fail? Out here, my starter motor. If my starter motor failed, I'd be screwed. If it completely failed, I'd be screwed. I would have to get on my sat phone. So I'm carrying a sat phone. I've done trips like this where I've actually carried, and I've decided to take the risk because I wanted to feel what it was like to be completely isolated from the world. That was for me a personal journey. Now I take a sat phone. So in an emergency, I got a sat phone. What would I do with that sat phone? Ask for help. It would be several days getting here. So several days. What does several days mean? I have shelter. I have a solar system to rejuvenate my battery power. If I can't run the engine, can't charge the battery, I have a solar backup system. I've got 200 amp per hour in this vehicle. I won't need my solar for this. I'm staying here just one night. I won't need to. I've got plenty to run the car, warm my water for a shower, etc. Run my fridges and lights. What happens if I had to stay here for 5 days, 6 days? Food? What about food? I have got enough food to keep me sustained in this car now for 2 weeks. I won't need that for 2 weeks. I've got water for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Plenty of water. So risk mitigation. It's all on the Overland workshop. So you might be thinking, oh, you're taking a big risk. No, I'm not taking a big risk because I understand what the risks are. And if you understand what the risks are, then the risk, there's still a risk. Yes, of course there's risk. I'm not a risk-averse human. I have 2 AC points here with this kind of plug. It's quite a good idea. I haven't seen that before, actually. Being so compact means that I can have 2 in a very, very small space. So I've made up that. This will plug into my laptop charger and my drone battery charger. So now what I need to do is put some Velcro here, because this is my charging station. I need to put strips of Velcro on here, the soft Velcro, and then the hook on my various charge boxes so that I can actually charge stuff while driving, because it's held in place with Velcro. That is the magic of Velcro. That's my tracker being charged at the moment. It's messy because, well, the systems are not refined at all, but that's what I'm doing here today, trying to refine these systems. Right, I have a problem. Here's a little bit of advice, take it or leave it, for anyone developing electrical systems in cars. You will all be familiar with Anderson plugs. Use grey ones, never anything else. This is a multi-purpose extension lead. The moment I use red, it's solar only. So use grey and mark them. What they've done in this car is that they have put, for the solar input, red. I can't connect my solar blanket because I have only got grey. And let's have a look here. This is a dedicated solar blanket. Now let's see if the makers themselves of these solar blankets, it's red arc, it's black, it works on all. So I've got a blanket, I've got a cable, and I cannot connect it to the car. So I've looked through my spares here, and the spares that I prepared to bring with me on this trip, and I have spare grey Anderson plugs, so I could make up another cable now. What I'm going to try and do is remove this. I'll just use the case, I don't have to rewire it. There you go. Right. Keep that red one as a spare. Let's see if I can go in here. Right, now let's see if this thing's working. But I don't have solder, so I've had to use a very rudimentary crimp. It's not ideal at all, but for now I'm hoping it's going to work. Alright, that should now work. I have to plug it in here. And I should have charge. Right. Okay, it's not working. And it's not the connection. It's the system. And it wasn't checked before I left. So I spent most of the afternoon trying to get the solar system to work, but because I didn't have a multimeter, I could not diagnose the problem. So at my next opportunity in the next largest town, I will try and find a multimeter. So I sorted the battery out. It was a little bit loose. Some of the battery terminals had become slightly loose. Only a little bit, mind you, but I have had an absolutely lovely day. Not a lot of animals, in fact very few, from 10 or 11 this morning. Absolutely nothing, just a few little beetles and things. Very few insects. Few birds. I expected more birds. There are some birds. This area is free camping. Well, it's actually not free. It's one of the few places in Botswana where you can reach solitude like this and have a fair chance of having nobody around, or certainly if you are going to see other people, they're going to be far, far away. But not unlike in Australia, the community is saying, hey, would you like to support us? You're coming and enjoying this place. We would like to charge a small fee. Now, on the way in, there was a sign saying, you need to pay a fee to enter this area. And it's at a town that we will pass through tomorrow, and I will go and pay for 2 nights camping. But this is a rare thing to be able to find a place like this that they don't charge very, very high park fees. And typically in African countries, the national parks is where the big game is. And that is true even here. I'm seeing game, but I'm not seeing big game. But the big game could get here, but the standing water where they congregate is not here, so we're not seeing the big game. Mabusahube is renowned for its population of lions, and I wanted to go there, couldn't, they said they had no space. But also on consideration, if there were a lot of lions around and I'm on my own, is that a risk worth taking? See, if you've got 2 people, keeping their ears and eyes open. You've got one person to do something. If you suddenly now have to get in the vehicle, there are 2 of you to manage stuff. Whereas now it's just me. And so perhaps camping, knowing that there are lots of lions there, I don't know. It might have actually been very difficult for me to do anything, because if the lions are close by, you don't walk around your camp. You hide in your vehicle. And there are a lot of lions in Mabua. Anyway, so it's been a fantastic. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that colour. Now, isn't it interesting though? The colour is not the same as it is in Australia. It's different. I've taken down the awning, as you can see, and it has an interesting effect on the ambience. It's because the roof, it doesn't just provide shade, it provides shelter, imaginary shelter from the sky. I really have grown to really enjoy my awnings. I really like them. When I set up camp and I know my awning's out, there's a... Oh, I can't turn up. There you go. There's a sense of permanence about the camp. It's a strange thing. While I've been here, an idea has gelled in my mind. Yesterday morning, the sunrise with a storm was spectacular. And I shot a lot of still pictures of it.
And I think there will be there was absolutely beautiful, because what was happening is the lightning was filling the sky, filling the clouds, which was reaching right up, with light. But there was an edge to the storm, and I captured it with part of the storm in the frame, and in the foreground the line of trees in silhouette. Because of course behind the storm the sun was rising, but you couldn't see it. It was spectacular. This morning, right here, I woke up at first light, opened the little blind and watched this absolutely beautiful line of trees as the sun broke through, and I shot lots of pictures. Those two photographs, I think, would make a magnificent set. And I'm going to start a gallery where my very, very best photographs can be purchased in fine art form, in fine art print.